Okay. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Today is lecture number 5, and thanks for everyone to actually keep coming back to our lecture. So let us start our lecture by paying homage to the Buddha by saying Namo Tassa 3 times. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samba Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samba
Sambuddhassa.
Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samba Sambuddhassa.
So can I start now?
Yes, Sayalay.
Okay. So good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Welcome back to our Abhidhamma class. So as mentioned, we are now in the number 5 of our series of 8 lectures on the main theme of what does Abhidhamma mean to us. So as we have covered half of our main theme, I hope by now you have at least some answer on what Abhidhamma might mean to us. It might be in different way, but I do hope that these are helpful for our well-being and to live a better and peaceful way in the society. So not taking much of at the time, that I would like to introduce with what we would focus today. That is the beautiful mental states, Sobhana Cetasika, and then wholesome consciousness, that is the Kusala Ceta. So for the first 4 lectures, we have touched upon the textual analysis of the 3 main texts or the Tipitaka, and we also have spent some time on looking what the mind is like to us and how it functions. And so far, we have already covered unwholesome or the dark side of the mind. So today we will look at what our beautiful mind or wholesome mind means to us. So this is again the classification of the mental states that I have brought back from the former lectures. So as we all know, Abhidhamma classifies 52 mental states, which we can divide it into 3 main categories. That is the ethically variable, or some texts translate in a simple way as the common mental states, in that they are agreeable or they are common to both unwholesome and wholesome or the beautiful mental states. That's the meaning. So we have already touched upon ethically variable, their nature, characteristic, function, etc. We also have look over how the unwholesome mental states can give effect to our mind and body and to our society at large. And today we will focus on the beautiful mental states, which in Pali we call Sobhana Cetasika, and they would amount to 25. So let's see what those 25 are. Actually, there is some purpose of making these mental states into group, because later we can see that how they closely work in pairs or how they closely work together with the consciousness. But If it is confusing for you with the numbers and if difficult to follow and remember, then you please just listen and be relaxed and just listen. But at least we can understand how these give effect to our mind and body. So these 25 beautiful mental states are subdivided into 4 smaller categories or groups. The first one being the beautiful universal. Some texts also say universal beautiful. So in Pali is the Sobana Sadharana. So we have seen that word as well, Sadharana, when we study the first group, that is the ethically variable mental states or the common mental states, which we subdivide into 2 smaller groups, that is the universal mental states, which is present in each and every consciousness, and that we call them Sabba Jeda Sadharana. Okay, so we are familiar with this term, Sadharana, if you remember. So this group of 19 mental states, they are together with every type of wholesome or the ethical or moral consciousness or the Kusala Jeda in Pali. And the remaining 3, they are sort of particular types. Though they are not termed as the particular, they have such kind of nature. It means they arise only one time. So out of 25, if we subtract the 19 beautiful universal states, we have remaining 6. So these 6, they arise only sometimes within us, and we will see. But it is curious to know what is the meaning of beautiful. So, so here beautiful means shining. It means when we have all these virtues or the positive virtues or qualities in our mind, we say that our mind is shining, our mind is illuminating, and our mind is radiant and good and so on. Okay, so let's move on to that 19. So I have numbered them, and after 7 mental states, then you will see that the remaining, they come in a pair. They come in a pair in the sense that, for example, the lightness. Lightness means not heaviness. So lightness of the consciousness and lightness of the mental states. So you will see them in pairs. Because as a pair, they are stronger and they can remove or they can suppress their opposite and wholesome mental states. So that's the meaning. So the first one is Saddha. Saddha is one of the temperaments. If you remember well, at the very beginning, I have introduced that the teachings in the discourses or the Sutta Pitaka, the Buddha expound the Dhamma in accordance with the temperament of different kinds of beings. So in that 6 types of temperament, this Saddha is one. So if you have, in some people, Saddha is very strong. So let's see, what does Saddha mean, and does it mean every type of confidence, or does it convey every sense of faith or not? So it says that Saddha, according to the Buddha's teaching, or particularly in Abhidhamma, it pleasing faith. Saddha has the nature or characteristic of pleasing faith or the trusting in the Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha, or we can also say triple gem. And when placing faith or trusting means it's sort of resolution. You might remember one time Adhimauka resolution when we see the particular mental states. By particular, it means it associates with only some of the consciousness. So here, when we have Saddha in mind, we have faith, we have trust, we have the sort of resolution here means sort of decision. We have decision, yes, we have confidence in the Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha. So this is the meaning. So does it imply blind faith? No, it is not. It says that in the next line, we can see it is not blind faith, but it is well-established confidence in the triple gem. So by this explanation, I think this confidence or faith should be distinguished or can be clearly distinguished from other type of confidence or faith that we use in our daily life. So how important is that Saddha? It says it is the forerunner of the wholesomeness. It means when we have Saddha in mind, we are ready to do kusala. That is the meaning. So we have quite a lot of example for this Saddha. So it is like water purifying gem of the universal monarch. So today, these days, we have the water purifying system, like osmosis system, so that we get the pH 7, that is the level of the its purity is pH 7. And in the same way, during the olden days, there is universal monarch. So that is the chief king of the universe. So by the power of his merit, he has a kind of gem, a treasure or precious stone. And it has a particular potential to purify the impurities in the water. It means when he put that gem in the muddy water, the mud becomes subsided and the water get clear so they can drink that. So it is compared to the water purifying gem. And so what happens when there is Saddha in mind? Saddha, it purifies our mind to be clear because it removes our mind's impurity. It means when there are impurities in the mind, suppose there are some spot or some stain in this tissue, then we would say it is stained or it is dirty. Now it is still clean. It means there is no impurity or no dust or no color tainted yet. That is the meaning. So when the mind becomes clear, it is transparent and it is not disturbed. So in a way, we can also say non-fogginess. It means in some country they have fog. In winter, when there is fog and we can't see clearly. So like when we study in Delhi, we often hear from the news that the train got collided due to the foggy weather. So it means when there is fog, the mind is foggy, we can't see things clearly. So when there is Saddha in mind, the mind is not foggy because the impurities of mind have been removed. Then we have another example. It is compared to a hero. The commentary says that there is a group of people who have to cross the river where there was no bridge. So, and in that river as well, there are crocodiles and some dangerous animals that would attack them, that would take their life. So they are hesitant to do so. At that moment, a hero came with a knife and he lead the people and he drive those dangerous animals away and he could cross the flood, that is the dangerous flood. And in the same way, it is forerunner in doing wholesomeness. So we can also say it helps in crossing over the impurities of the mind or the unethical states. There are more examples as you can see here. Saddha is compared to a hand. Hand means the purpose of hand is, let's say here, to pick things up. So there would be a pile of treasure in front of me. And if I have no hand, then how can I pick it up? So it's also compared to a treasure. And another example we have is like a seed. Yes, Saddha is the seed. But the seed doesn't have any potential. It has to be grown in the soil. We have to put virya, we need the mindfulness, sati, and we also need wisdom so that the wholesome qualities grow. So here we can see that Saddha is a kind of the spiritual faculty indriya. It says that there are altogether 5 faculties which the meditator has to keep them or make them in harmony or keep them in balance. That is the energy, virya, mindfulness, sati, concentration, samadhi, and wisdom, panya. So it says that though we have praised that Sada so much, or we have seen the advantages or many profits or benefit of Sada, but still it should not be over, it should not be in excess. So it says that this confidence is to be balanced, it should be balanced with wisdom, panya. So what happens when there is too much, the confidence is too strong in us? So in a person in whom the confidence is very strong and wisdom is weak, and that person cannot reason, he or she tends to have faith in the wrong object of veneration. That's why some people, when the Sada is too strong and they can't judge or they can't reason by the power of wisdom, they believe in different objects of faith, like the supernatural power and many kinds of the divine things and so on. And again, what happens when the wisdom is too strong and Sada is weak? Then that person becomes cunning and deceitful. And it says that it is hard to be cured, like a disease that is caused by medicine. Because a person who has too much wisdom and without faith, that person doesn't believe in anything. I myself is my owner. I myself is my own island, my own Lord. I don't need anybody to rely upon. I don't need to depend on anybody, or I don't need any object of veneration. Such can happen. So these two should be developed. So when it is developed, it becomes strong and it cannot be shaken by any other thing. Then we say it is unshakable and firm, and it becomes a kind of power or bala. So these are the qualities that we need to develop in our spiritual progress, in our spiritual journey. And come the second one, mindfulness, sati, which we are very much familiar. So what is mindfulness? It means it is the presence of the mind, attentiveness to the present. Yes, I may be sitting here, I may be talking to you, but my mind goes out quickly and I might be in some other place, or I might be thinking some other lesson ahead, or I can be thinking of any other thing. So this mindfulness is nature, is the non-superficial or not floating like the balloons on water surface. It means when there is mindfulness, we go deep into the object. Okay, I will repeat. When there is mindfulness, our mind doesn't remain on the surface. It goes deeper into the object. That is the meaning. That is the meaning of non-superficial or not floating like the balloons on water surface. If you put the air balloon, then it would just float on the water surface. It means it is superficial. I know that your English is better than me, but since these are the technical terms, I think that I'm going to explain you at points. And it is the absence of confusion or non-forgetfulness. When there is sati, we always have to say, be mindful, don't be forgetful, be heedful, right? Then it is compared to a doorpost firmly fixed on the ground. It means it cannot be shaking. When there is mindfulness is strong, our mind remains on the present object. Our mind is focused on the object. Suppose you have mindfulness, then your mind would remain on the sound, on my voice that I'm speaking. Then your mind is firmly fixed on an object. And it is also compared to a doorkeeper from guarding the door of the senses. Yes, hearing, now we are, let's say, getting involved in our discussion, in our listening the Dhamma, but certainly some noise come, and if we're not mindful, our mind follow, and our mind would be analyzing what sound is it. But suppose you are mindful, then you might hear something from outside. Okay, you just listen on, that is the sound. And we don't follow that sound. We just came back to the main object for the time being. That is my voice. That is the meaning. So keeping out unwholesome mental states from entering the mind, it means that we keep the doorkeeper or the guards at the gate so that some strangers or outside people cannot come in easily. And it is the same way. When there is mindfulness in our mind, it restrains us from the unwholesome mental states. Then this mindfulness alone is not work, and I would like to share like one concept, and there is a new term some of you might have heard of. That is the kindfulness. It is a mixture of mindfulness and kindness. I think some of you might know because you are smiling. It shows that you know. There is a rich person, and that person, of course, has a doorkeeper at the gate. And he has to go out for some business. So he asks his guard or his doorkeeper, okay, watch the gate carefully. Don't let anybody come in. Then after he has come back from meeting or after he has come back from the business, he has seen that his treasures has been taken away. Then he called his doorkeeper and inquire what happens. Then the doorkeeper say, yes, sir, I was mindful. I saw a group of people came in. As I saw them coming in, I take note that yes, they are coming in. And as they took the treasure boxes, I also note that yes, they are taking. And as the treasure boxes are carried or moved outside, again, I noted it has been successfully moved out. So I have been mindful all the time, sir. So that's his answer. So what do you think? Was he dutiful? Yes, he was. But apart from that being mindful, what does he have to do? He need to protect, right? He need to protect. So there should be some sort of wisdom along with that as well. But in that term, kindfulness, it also say that he should have some loving kindness on his master. Loving kindness is metta, and it wants the welfare of his master. So that is the meaning. So it means mindfulness alone doesn't work. It has to be with other factors as well. But of course, without mindfulness, we won't reach anywhere. And there is no way that mindfulness is excess, like the case of the saddha, confidence, or wisdom. Then, how much is this mindfulness important? In the Mahasatipatthana Sutta of the Digha Nikaya means long discourses of which are long in the length. So in the Mahasatipatthana Sutta, the Buddha expounded very clearly. This is the only way for the purification of the mind of beings. Okay, ekayano. Eka means one, ayana means this way. So ekayana means one way. This is the only way. There is no other way that would lead to the purification of the minds of beings. Of course, there are some other benefits as well, but at the very outset or at the very beginning, it is important to keep our mind pure. And that's why in the Sotanda teaching, or the essence of Buddha's teaching, can be summed up under these three lines: not to do evil, to do good, and to purify one's mind. And once a monk was asking, in that regard, I remember to relate this story. Once a monk was asking the Buddha, there are so many teachings of the Buddha, and what should I follow if there were only one kind of teaching? That is, the Buddha say, to keep your mind pure, right? So the purpose of our study is also to keep our mind pure. At the very beginning, we need to know how our mind and body are processing, their nature, their function, and their relationship, so that when we understand their nature, we know what to be developed, what to be removed or suppressed, and how our mind can become calm, tranquil, and pure. So let's move on. Mindfulness, sati. So Just now I have quoted the Mahasatipatthana Sutta. In Burmese we call Mahatatipatanto, right? So we have altogether 4 objects of contemplation that come under 4 aspects. That is the contemplation on the body, contemplation on feeling, contemplation on mind, and contemplation on the Dhamma object. So contemplation of the body, what do we have to do when we contemplate on our body? So we have this anapanasati, right? Breathing in and breathing out. It also belongs to that contemplation of the body. And the 4 body postures, iriyapatha, 4 body posture. Now we all are sitting. Sitting in the chair, we know we are sitting. Our body is touching the chair and our leg is touching the floor and so on. And of course, we can also take note as we are standing up, we are walking, or either you are lying down on bed. Before you go to sleep, then you can also take note of that, our body posture and our body activities. Now I'm looking straight to you, then I know I'm looking straight. And if I turn to the left, I know I'm turning to the left. If I turn my head to the right, I know I'm turning my head to the right. And as we dress up as well, we know we are dressing up. So that is the looking at every details of our movement or our body activities and so on. And there are some other things as well, including our 32 parts of our body that would come in a bit when we come to the next lecture, that is on the material qualities or rupa. That is the contemplation of the body. Another one, contemplation of feeling, that is the Vedananupassana. Okay, the first time contemplation on body is the Kaya Nupassana, and Kaya and Anupassana. Anupassana means contemplation, thinking again and again, developing again and again. That is the meaning. Not just by one type of labeling or noting, we have to contemplate Anupassana again and again. That's why it's known as contemplation. So here, the word Kaya, it denotes body, physical body. Please note that, because when we come later to the Cetasika, sometimes Kaya also might refer to a group of the mental states or Cetasika. So in this particular context, it refers to the physical body. Another one, contemplation on feeling. So we have already noted that there are altogether 5 kinds of feeling. We are mentally happy or mentally pleasant or mentally unpleasant, or pleasure or displeasure, right? And in the same way, bodily pain or bodily pleasant. Now you are sitting in the chair, I'm also sitting in the chair. So for this time being, we don't notice yet, but if we sit for 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours during meditation, we can feel some sort of uncomfortableness or some pain in the physical body. But if you are sitting in a chair now, right now, I hope that you are comfortable. And we have also neutral feeling that is neither pleasant nor unpleasant. So we can take note on different kinds of feeling during meditation. Then contemplation on mind, that is the Jeta Nupassana, Jeta and Anupassana. So here I have taken one example. Since we are learning, we have already studied the akusala jeta or the unwholesome consciousness. And I hope that at least you would remember 3 kinds of unwholesome roots. That is the lobha, dosa, and moha, right? By lobha, we say it is attachment, it is craving, it is clinging. Sometimes we can also say lust. That is the raga. So sometimes when our mind has attachment, we know our mind has attachment. That is the saraga jeta. So it says in the Mahasatipatthana Sutta as saragam vajetam, saragam jetam di pajanati. It means when our mind is lustful, when our mind has craving or is with attachment, we know our mind has attachment. And on the contrary, the moment you are given away, right? The moment you are sharing your properties, then there is no lust. Or sometimes you are contemplating on the impermanent nature of the object. At that time also our mind can be free from lust for the time being. Then at that moment also our mind has no attachment, because we know everything tends to change, that is the impermanent. Then we try not to get attached. At that moment also we try to know our mind is without attachment, without lust, and so on. And another one, contemplation on Dhamma object, Dhammanupassana. It is wider in range. It includes the 5 aggregates, or the our khanda, including 1 physical body and 4 mental aggregates. 1 aggregate is mind, right? We have physical body and mind. We have the vedana, feeling. We have sanya, perception, and the remaining 50 mental states, they pertain to the mental formations, that is the sankhara. So that would include this lobha, dosa, moha, right? And jealousy, stinginess, remorse, that what we have seen last week. And here we might see some other positive factors this week. Then moving on to the mindfulness sati, another aspect of sati is the recollecting or remembering. So we have to know that we can say that there are 2 aspects of mindfulness. One aspect is the being present of the mind, or the attentiveness to the present, being at the present. Another one is the recollecting or remembering. So when can we see that? When we talk about the Buddha's attainment of the enlightenment, it says that there are 3 watches. Watches mean the short period. And I think it is divided in terms of 2 hours. So during the first watch of the night, then the Buddha attained the knowledge of remembering the past lives. So here we can see it is termed as Pobbe Nivasa no Sati. Sati is mindfulness, and no Sati. And no Sati means this remembering, recollecting. Nivasa means the places, the dwelling, or the existences. Pobbe means former. So the Buddha could remember his former existences or his past life. That is the Pobbe Nivasa no Sati. So in that, this Sati works in the manner or in the nature of recollecting or remembering the past. And often, what do? We also recollect on the Buddha's attribute, Araham. The Buddha is the worthy of all the veneration by being human beings and the deities and the celestial beings. And another meaning also, another word of the Araham, that is the Buddha is the pure or devoid of all the mental impurities. In that, we also try to recollect on the Buddha's attribute, that is the Bodha no Sati. So we also have to know that this mindfulness, it is not exactly like what memory implies in the Western thought. And it says that the strong perception, sanya, also help mindfulness in remembering. So we know that sanya is one of the universal mental states. It is with every type of consciousness, but not every perception is strong. We also need to make this perception strong by developing again and again. So this is about mindfulness. And the next, they are also something like sort of impaired. That is the moral shame to do evil. That is the hiri. So we have already seen its opposite, ahirika, last week. Moral shame. The word moral is there to modify the term, not the shame itself, because people have shame in different ways. Like some people, they feel ashamed to talk in public. Some people, they feel shy to go in crowd and so on. Not this kind of shame, right? So this is the moral shame. This moral shame disgusts at bodily and the verbal misconduct. It means it is afraid or it is shameful to do evil. In that sense, we have to understand. Then this moral shame or hiri, it says it has the internal reference. It means out of self-respect. Because you have respect in yourself and honor, because you might consider that I have come up to this age, or I come from a good lineage, and I'm educated person, and I'm a person of wide experience and learning. As such, in consideration of your own qualities, or out of honor for your own self, out of respect for yourself, you try to avoid from evil. That is the meaning. And later I will come up to this example. Another one, moral fear of blame. So here we see the term fear. So not every fear is unwholesome or akusala in Buddhism. This moral fear is something wholesome, something good, something that we have to keep developing. We will see why later. Moral fear of blame. It means you are afraid to be blamed by somebody. Why? Because you have respect for others, maybe for your family, and you are afraid to get punishment by others, or you might be afraid of the painful karma results of the evil deeds, and so on. So in consideration of such moral consequences of evil that you avoid from doing unwholesome, that is the moral fear of blame, that is the ottappa. So we have seen is a synonym last week, that is the anuttappa. So hiri and ottappa comes in a pair. So we can say that when hiri or moral shame control us out of respect for ourselves, ottappa also help us to be away from doing evil out of respect for others or for the world. So here we have this example. There is an iron rod. This is the example from the commentary, iron rod or iron bar. At one side, let's say on the left side, it is smeared or it is dirty with the excrement, with the waste from the body, right? And on the right side, it is red hot or very hot. So we have this example. The first example, the left side of the iron bar that is smeared with the excrement or that is dirty with the excrement is like moral shame. You won't touch that excrement. You won't hold that iron bar because you feel disgusted. In the same way, hiri or moral shame makes you feel disgusted from doing evil. And what happened with the other side? Because it is red hot or burning hot, we cannot touch. We are afraid to touch it. So it is likened to that moral fear, that is the ottappa. So just as they have a pair of ahirika and anuttappa, and they belong to the unwholesome universal in the sense that they are present in every unwholesome activities. In the same way, its counterpart, hiri, moral shame, and ottappa, moral fear, they are together with all types of wholesome consciousness. In that way, we can see that there are the positive qualities in these mental states. So it has been praised in various ways, this hiri and ottappa, and I think you might be familiar. That is the guardian of the world, loka pala. Or another way, it's also termed as the soka dhamma, pure dhamma, or the deva dhamma that is practiced by the celestial beings. And it also appears as pillars of social ethics. Because we live in our society, we try to be good, we try to be ethical. out of respect for ourselves. So when we don't do any evil, what happens? Our society also become good. That is, we're just taking care of ourselves, and as a result, the whole society have this benefit. And in the same way, in case of Anuttapa, it thinks for the society. If I do this, my society will be plain, and so on. So that's why it is the regulator of the relations between individual and the society. And it protects against the deterioration of humankind's moral standards. So it serves as the brake of our mind vehicle. Okay, sometimes the mind tends to take delight in evil, and there is nobody, and in the secluded place or where there is no people, we tend to have some mistake. But yes, we have the break, this hiri and ottappa. Then what happens when there is no hiri and ottappa? It says that when their influence wane, it means it becomes weak. The human will fall into unabashed promiscuity and violence, and we will behave like animals. Because animals, they don't know this is the mother, this is father, this is brother, sister, and they just know all these are just being. They don't have this knowledge to differentiate as such. So here you have also the references of the Sogadama Sutta from Itivodaka, and I also have quoted this from the Bhikkhu Bodhi Guardians of the World. It is a short essay. And I also would like to introduce you to this website if you don't know yet, accesstoinsight.org. There you have a lot of material, translation of the Buddhist teaching, the Sutta, and short articles, and quite a lot of references. You can have the books in PDF and other formats as well. So that's why I have mentioned here. So let's move on to the another group. So in the unwholesome state, we have seen about greed, attachment, craving, right? Here, calm is counterpart, non-greed, non-attachment. This is the Atloba, right? So this is one of the wholesome roots. So how important is it? So the Pali word is the Atloba, Loba and Aloba. So here At show the negation, negative. It may no, lacking. So most of the translation we find is the non-greed and non-attachment. But here you might notice some other different translation as well, anti-greed and anti-attachment. So this is the translation by our Rector Sayadaw, Venerable Dr. Nanda Malabi. According to Sayadaw, he says that this aloba, it is not mere opposite of loba, but it has some positive virtues or qualities. So he says that he thought that it would be better to translate as the anti-greed or anti-attachment. So let's see how it goes. Aloba, the mind's lacking of desire for object or the detachment. It's just the contrary, it's very simple. While loba is termed as attachment, aloba is the detachment. When loba has desire for the object, aloba lacks desire for the object. And when loba takes hold of it, grabs it, aloba, non-adherence or not taking hold, but letting go. Because of this aloba, that you have this generosity, right? You can share your property, like even you can share your time as well. Then when there is aloba, we don't feel selfish. We're not self-centered, right? Then it also says that it possesses positive virtues like liberality, generosity, and renunciation. Yes, liberality, generosity, giving away, donation, sharing, because sharing is caring, and renunciation. The thought of renunciation or giving up. Mostly our time is happy with the enjoyment in sensual pleasures. like we like good food, we like good music, pleasant music, right? Then this is the kama vitaka, thought of sensual pleasures. But when you observe the precept, what do we do? For that particular day or for that particular time, you have this thought of renunciation, you give up that enjoyment for a while, right? This is the nature of aloba. So it is compared to the water drop on the lotus leaf. We all know that water drop doesn't remain long in the lotus leaf, it just fall off. So likewise, aloba also detached from the object, it doesn't stick to the things, it's not selfish, but letting go. Then you might notice that every teaching or the every advice or every quote from the wise, they say that let it go or just drop it, right? If you want to have peace of mind, we can attach to things all the time because they always have the nature of the impermanence changing. What happened when it's changing? We will have suffering, right? Maybe you have a new bag, a new car, or a new house. From time to time, without doing anything, gradually it tends to get growing old, it decay. And somebody might have a better car or a better house than you, then when we compare that, we have suffering, right? So aloba means non-detachment. Of course, you have some expensive thing, your favorite things you can treasure. But at the same time, we have to accept that we have to understand everything has lifespan. It tends to decay from time to time. So this is the kind of thought that we try to remind ourselves or cultivate from time to time. So we have simple example. Someone who has fallen into a foul place. We just feel disgusted. We try to just get out of it, get rid of it, not sticking to this, letting go. This is the nature. So the area of the noble person, for them, since they have the eradication or the total removal of the mental defilements, but of course there are different levels and degrees, then for them, sensual pleasure is like something that is foul or something sort of like undesirable excrements, right? But for us, we still have attachment to such. The next one, non-aversion, non-hatred. Again, another wholesome root. Aloba, adosa. This is adosa. Adosa means no dosa, non-aversion, non-hatred. Again, Sayadaw say it would be good to translate as anti-hatred, anti-aversion. That is the adosa. So while dosa has different levels and degree, including violence, ferocity, and cruelty, it is just opposite. When there is adosa, our mind is free from such kind of the unethical qualities or such kind of the vile things. Then it removes annoyance and removes fever of the mind. It means that when there is dosa in mind, it says that metaphorically our mind is feverish. Our mind is like overwhelmed or influenced by dosa. Then we have this levels and degrees and the heat of this dosa. Then we need to get removed or we need to calm our mind down. Then another a form or an aspect of our dosa is the loving kindness mitta. But here it says that mitta is narrower in scope. Then you might be confusing, right? Let's say there are two concepts, adosa and mitta. Adosa is wider in scope and mitta is just an aspect. Why? Because mitta has to be deliberately or purposely developed. Or may all beings be happy and peaceful. May they be able to carry themselves or their work happily and successfully as such. Right now, we are talking about Dhamma. We are discussing Dhamma. So there is non-violence in our mind, of course. Adosa in our mind. But there is no mitta because we are not cultivating on any living beings for their well-being. our object is the Dhamma. We are studying the Dhamma because the object of Metta is the living being. So taking different object and Metta is to be purposely or deliberately developed or cultivated. There is no Metta at the present moment, but we have this adosa in our mind. So we have to understand clearly. Then, what is the nature of this Metta? Now I keep on telling about Metta. It says it is the spirit of a good, gentle friend. You would say you have a very good friend, a loyal friend. What does it mean? He or she just wish for your welfare. That person will never do you harm. Because this is a good friend, this is a true friend, right? Metta sa is a Metta. So Metta is the spirit of a true friend. What does your friend wish for you? Just try to promote your welfare, right? That's why it's here promoting the aspect of welfare and removing ill will. So what do we do with Metta in the Buddhist practice? It says it is one of the 4 divine abidings, Brahma Vihara. So during this samatha meditation, it becomes the meditation object of the tranquility meditation, right? You try to radiate loving kindness, especially during this time of the outbreak of the COVID. You would hear some news and you wish that you also do some chanting of the paredas and sending loving kindness, wishing for their well-being. But when this has been done repeatedly as a meditation object, then it can bring you some absorption state or the jhana attainment. So it says that this metta is more inclined to help others without selfish motive. Sometimes we help others, but there might be some expectation at the background. But this metta, it has no selfish motive, no selfish desire, just merely wanting the good, the welfare of another person. That is the meaning. And this non-aversion or adosa has reached perfection in arahants. That is the highest stage of the noble person. So it's very apparent, of course. And equanimity, another one. Right now, I have talked about this adosa or metta, right? Please remember, metta is one of the 4 Brahma Vihara divine abidings. And another one, equanimity. The Pali term is tatra mijjatata, right? It's a long word. Tatra mijjatata. Ta means the state of being. Mijjata means in the middle. Tatra means there. So this is the literal meaning. I don't understand what is there in the middleness, right? It means it is neutral. It is impartial. That is the meaning. Then it is also one of the 4 Brahma Vihara or divine abidings or divine livings. There it comes under the name of Upekha. So here I have written Upekha as the Brahma Vihara, Upekha not as a kind of feeling. Okay, please note that. Because when we study about feeling, and just now when I talk or discuss about mindfulness sati, I have mentioned about 5 kinds of feeling, right? Mentally pleasant, mentally unpleasant. Let's say physical pain, mental pain, and this kind of thing. Another one is the neutral feeling, neither pleasant nor unpleasant. But this upekha, the same spelling, but this upekha is Brahma Vihara. It is not feeling upekha, because upekha comes in different types. So here, tatra mijjatata. I have been repeating this word often because when we were young, we tend to make a mistake in spelling. Okay, tatra, there. Mijjata. Mijjata means middle. Ta, another ta means the state of being, or is a noun forming suffix. So tatra mijeta. Okay, that's the correct pronunciation and correct way of dissetting or dividing words. And another one, upekha. Upa means impartial, not biased, no prejudice. Unprejudiced. Ekha here means seeing or viewing. So upekha means seeing impartially. I'm explaining all this because the English words or English translations sometimes may or may not give the exact meaning. So that's why I'm trying to explain the literal meaning as well. And since you have a better command of English, you will be able to understand English better. But it is also good to know the root of the Pali words sometimes. So this equanimity, mental attitude of balance, neutrality, impartiality. Or we have more explanation, even-mindedness, that is the tatra mijeta, or the balance of mind. So as explained, it is not feeling vedana, right? We have this neutral feeling, which is neither pleasant nor unpleasant, neither like nor dislike. Do you like durian? Or you just say so-so, just upekha. Not your favorite, not that you can't smell, not that you dislike. If you get easily, you will just take it. So-so, not really. So such kind of we feeling, that is the vedana upekha as vedana. So what to do with all this middleness and impartiality in this unwholesome wholesome mental states, or the sobhana cetasika? It says it conveying consciousness and mental states evenly and smoothly. It means that nothing can go deficient less, or nothing can go excess more. So we have this simple example. In olden days, they have the horse cart, the chariot. So suppose it is drawn by 4 horses. The charioteer has to watch over that the 4 horses, they are running at the same speed, at the same pace, so that the chariot is running smoothly. Not any of them can go faster, nor one can go slower. It's not that way. Going at the same speed, neither excess nor neither less. That is the meaning. So what does this equanimity or upekha do? It promotes the aspect of neutrality towards being. You will understand this better when we come to this mudita, karuna and mudita. Karuna means compassion, which we will see later, and mudita means appreciative joy. When somebody is in pain, you have this sympathy, you have this empathy. You wish that they relieve from that pain, that suffering, either physical or mental or some other social problems or as such. And in the same way, mudita, you are rejoicing, you are congratulating over their success, over their welfare, over their promotion or something like that. So the object of compassion is being mean general, being human being, or being in suffering, in trouble, in problem. Whereas the object of this appreciative joy or mudita is being in well-being, in good position. But when we come to this upekha, there is no way as such. Here it says that treat, the second last line we can see, treat beings without discrimination, preference and prejudices. Then tries to upekha or equanimity, tries to contemplate this way. Beings are owners of their teeth, whether they are in suffering or whether they are in good position or well-being. This is what is upekha about. Then now we come to the 6th base. Because among the 19 beautiful mental states, now we have covered 7, right? And the remaining 12, they come in a pair. So let's see how they come in a pair. The first one is the tranquility or the passaddhi. So here we have two. Tranquility or calmness of the mental states, that is the kaya passaddhi. Okay, kaya passaddhi. Here, please note, kaya refers to the mental states, not the physical body. When we study about mindfulness sati, I have said that there are 4 modes of contemplations in the mindfulness. That is the contemplation of the body, which in Pali we call kaya nupassana, right? In that particular context, kaya means the physical body. But here, looking at this term, kaya passaddhi, kaya here means mental states or the cetasika. So that's why it is divided as the mind or consciousness and the mental states, cetasika. Actually, the mind and mental states cannot be separated. They are always together. But to show their nature and to show the strength as they can suppress or defeat the opposite state, it is expressed as 2 or in a pair. So from now on, we will see 6 kinds of pair, like tranquility of mind, tranquility of mental state, lightness of mind, lightness of mental states, and so on. Okay, so it quiets down the disturbances of the mind. When there are some disturbances, the mind is not tranquil, the mind is not calm. It is fluttering, it is frustrating. So this tranquility, it quiets down the disturbances of the mind and mental states. So it is opposed, it means opposite of restlessness. We have seen this word restlessness, odaja. It is included in the unwholesome universal. It means whenever there is unwholesome or jada or the akusala jada, this restlessness is always there. You might remember delusion or ignorance moha, and this restlessness of mind or unstable state of mind, odaja, and the 2 we have seen, ahirika, shamelessness to do evil, anuttapa, fearlessness to do evil. Okay, I will repeat. Shrouded or blinded by the ignorance, we don't feel shame to do evil. We don't have fear to do evil. At that time, the mind is also restless. These 4 qualities, they are known as the unwholesome universal, and they are together with each and every type of the 12 unwholesome jada, be it rooted in loba mula jada, or together with dosa mula jada, or moha. So that is the meaning. So when the mind is restless, of course, there is no calmness, no tranquility. So that's why it says this pair of tranquility, it is opposite to restlessness and worry, kokoja. So here, kokoja is translated as worry, but we also find kokoja in the sense of remorse. When do we have repent or regret or remorse? Suppose I don't prepare my lessons well, then I don't have enough data or information, or I'm not well planned for my business, then later I feel regret, or I should have prepared well. And this is a kind of regret or remorse, kokoja in Pali we call. And in the same way, sometimes you are in a position to help others, and you can really do it, but you try to ignore the help from the friend. Then later you have this remorse. But not every time, but sometimes you're not in a position to help them. You don't even have enough time or the enough money to help them, then it's okay. But though we are in a position to help others and we ignore, like later we may have this remorse or regret. And sometimes we do business, then is not successful, then it might also come, this remorse might also come in. But this tranquility, it is opposite to this restlessness and worry. It means as a pair, it has the ability or power, it has the potential to suppress them. Not total eradication, right? But just temporarily suppression. It means by the power of tranquility, this restless and the remorse or the worry states are driven away for the time being. So what happens when our mind is tranquil, unwavering? Our mind has no doubt, and it is just calm and cool. Then, being tranquil in the body, I have quoted a saying from the Sutta, from the Digha Nikaya. Being tranquil in body, he experiences happiness. The mind of one who is happy becomes concentrated. So if we want to be happy, we need to have concentration of mind. And mind and body are always related. And here body refer to the physical body. Sometimes after taking shower, you feel relaxed and you feel calm and peaceful. Then your mind also feels the same. And by doing kusala, your mind is calm and tranquil and peaceful. So your body, even though your body may be tired, you can keep on working. So we can apparently see the closely relationship between mind and body, right? But lightness in mind bring changes to the physical body, and in the same way, the effect in the lightness in the physical body bring calmness to the mind as well. So it says this tranquility is the seed present in every wholesome consciousness. So I also quote this book from the Cetasika by the Nina van Goghen, a Dutch scholar. So we have this book as well. And another book is the Abhidhamma studies by the Bhikkhu Nyana that I have already mentioned the reference in my first lecture, and you can look back. So there, these pairs are quite explained in a little bit more detail comparing to some other texts. Then the first pair, the second one. So I try to number according to this 19. That's why it comes in a series, right? This up to 7, we have the starting from Saddha, Sati, Hiri, Ottappa, Aloba, Adosa, Tatra, Meja, Tatra is number 7. And this tranquility of the mental state is 8. Tranquility of mind is 9. So it comes in a pair. So now we go to number 10 and 11. That is the lightness. So it's easy to understand. Here we find another term, agility. Some terms are technical. I also try to search in the dictionary. For me, you might understand better, but I try to include as much words as possible so that it would be clearer to you. So lightness or agility, I don't know what is agility at the beginning. So lightness is an easier term to understand, right? Agility of the mental states, kaya lahuta, lightness or agility of mind, jada lahuta. So it means that when we are light, we are ready to do things. Okay, suppose your body is heavy, it's difficult even to get up. So sometimes we are very dull and heavy and we don't feel like getting up. But when the body is light, we can easily get up. It means we can easily do good deeds. This is the meaning. So of course, lightness subsides heaviness, and it appears as non-sluggishness or non-laziness. So you might remember this sloth and torpor from the unwholesome Cetasika, Tina and Meda. That is the dullness of the mind, drowsiness, sleepiness. When we are drowsy, then we feel so heavy. And we also have even a joke or even a saying The heaviest item in the world is the eyelids, our eyelids. When we are so drowsy, we can't even lift up our eyelids and we can't keep our eye open. We have to surrender, right, to this sluggishness. Are you feeling sluggish, or are you having this Tina and Meda now? So few of you that I see on the screen that you are alert and you are smiling and you are responding to me time to time. But you might also get tired from your whole day work, because in some places it would be even time to rest at night. And at some places it would be in the afternoon after lunch. So this lightness is opposed to heaviness, sloth and torpor, Tina and Meda. Hey, why do this Tina and Meda, laziness or this sleepiness or drowsiness, it has to be akusala? It's not fair, you might think. It means that when we are too much influenced by this sloth and torpor, it hinders our progress. If I'm very fond of sleeping, meaning I don't have much time to study, or I don't have much time to work because I enjoy sleeping, right? And during meditation as well, or even for chanting in the morning, sometimes we don't want to get up because we feel that we never have enough sleep. And the Buddha said that you have been sleeping in the whole samsara, in the past life, right? So this time we try to, in this life, we try to make ourselves awake more than before. So it says that this lightness is the capacity of the mind to turn quickly to a wholesome object, just as I say, to the contemplation of impermanence, etc. This is the quoted from the Athasalini, meaning the first Abhidhamma text, Mahatika sub-commentary. So the commentary to the first Abhidhamma text, at the beginning, I think we have seen about 7 Abhidhamma texts. So this is the commentary explanation. And it also says that Kaya Lahuta, as Kaya Lahuta, it signifies the swiftness of the function. Yes, light and can perform the function quickly or more swiftly. Moving on to the next. Softness, pliancy, softness. Then we have very good example, I think is here. No, it's not here. But I think it can be understood from the explanation. Of course, we have big words here as well. I think to me, these words are bigger. Malleability, elasticity, and resilience of mind. Then, of course, softness is opposite of the hardness or rigidity. Sometimes we are very much rigid with our own thought, our own philosophy. We can say our view. I might also think that only my view is right. Only the meditation method I'm practicing is the best. Like I'm overwhelmed with these rigid thoughts. So, and maybe I'm the best in doing that, and I can do the best. There is nobody who is better than me. When we have such kind of conceit, mana, or the wrong view, or the thoughts or philosophy, our mind is rigid. Because we have to resist. We have to be strong so that because we want to be better than others, then we try to act smart and strong. Then as a result, our mind becomes rigid. So this softness or pliancy, it subsides. It calms down the rigidity or the hardness caused by wrong view and conceit. So pliancy appears as open-mindedness as opposed to wrong view. Instead, I should not be very much stick to my view, only that my view is right. Other view might be good or right as well. I need to have some open-mindedness. It means that not egocentric. This word is quite enlightening, I think. Conceit and any other egocentric hardening of the heart are countered by pliancy, egocentric, self-centered, hardening, or it is not soft. So like when it says that the vein or the vessel of the heart is hardened, then there is no regular flow in the blood, then people have heart disease, right? Also, we can have this wrong view and conceit that would harden us, our heart. So it has to be softened by this mududa, right? Mudu means soft. It's a sounder health aroja of the mental and moral health. Because most of the time we give more attention to our physical health, but our mental health and moral health is equally important from this teaching. So it's a good reminder. So it increases the mind's imaginative capacity and an important factor in the development of intuition. This deity is quite terrible because it would send us to the abaya. So the first type of noble person, Sotapanna, eradicates deity, this wrong view, and Vichikeja, that is the doubt in the Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha, and the teaching. Because Vichikeja doesn't believe in the karma and its result. So it's really dangerous. And I might hold a wrong view, and I might think that there is no benefit or no advantages in giving charity. And there is no past life, no previous life, no future life. We come accidentally. No such kind of wrong view existed since the time of the Buddha. So it is really dangerous, right? And fortunately, we have this softness or this quality in our mind when we have wholesome thoughts. And another one, adaptability. Adaptability, we can easily adapt. Workableness or the wieldiness. So the simple way here, adaptability of the mental states, kaya kammenyata, okay? Kaya kammenyata and citta kammenyata. So all these words simply mean easy to handle or manage. Adaptable, workable, wieldy, easy to handle or manage. So we have this simple example here. Gold. Okay, human being or people make ornaments, all the jewelries, including gold. So what do they have to do? It has to be pliable. It has to be given heat so that it becomes soft and it can be made into any shape the work the technicians want to do. And at the same time, it says that some impurities have to be removed from that gold. So it says it is likened to the purified gold that become pliable, wieldy, so that it can easily manage. So it is the medium quality or medium consistency of mind. Neither firmness or softness is excessive. Then here we have example, passionate mind, that is mind with lobha or raga, too soft, like molten or liquefied gold. Molten or liquefied gold. When the heat is too much, gold becomes liquid. And when it becomes over soft or excessively soft or it becomes liquid, you can't do anything. So it is compared to this lobha mula jada or the passionate mind, the mind with craving, the mind with passion. An angry mind is too rigid, like untempered or hard gold. But when we are there is anger in our mind, we become too rigid, like the hard gold. In the same way, when the gold becomes too hard also, we can't do anything. So that is the meaning. So it should be in between. So excessive rigidity of mind resists to transform or reform. When the gold is too hard, you can't do any shape. And when our mind is too hard, too rigid, we can't change or transform. So this adaptability, this virtue or this special quality assisted in uprooting two unwholesome roots. Last means passion. Last, passion, craving, attachment, all these are synonymous terms which refer to lobha, right? Hatred, anger, aversion, like annoyance, irritation, depression, all these are different forms of dosa. So this adaptability, it assists in uprooting these two unwholesome roots, lobha and dosa, or lust and hate. Okay, let's move on to another one. Proficiency pagonyata. Okay, proficiency of mental states and proficiency of mind. Here, proficiency means healthiness. Yes, our mind is healthy when we do good. Or when we do good, our mind has this healthiness present. It says that this proficiency, it crushes unhealthiness of mental states and mind. So it means fitness and competence of mind. People go to gym for the physical fitness. Yes, we also need our mind to be fit so that we are determined, we are ready to do good deeds or kusala karma. So it is opposite to sickliness, gelenya bhava, that is caused by lack of faith or confidence. Faith or confidence is saddha. Asadhya means no faith, no confidence, lacking in faith or confidence, and the mental defilements kilesa. It means that at the beginning or the very first factor of this beautiful universal is this saddha, faith or confidence in the triple gem, karma and its result, right? If there were no faith, we won't do anything. We can't do any unwholesome thing. Because saddha is also in a sense compared to a seed. Without seed, there can be no plant. Without saddha, there can be no wholesome action, right? And in the same way, when our mind has mental defilements like lobha, dosa, and moha, then it is compared, or it says that we are sick. We are mentally sick. So when a person asks you, how are you today? Then normally what we say is like, yes, I'm okay. Or sometimes, I'm not okay, my mind is confused, right? Or I'm so happy, I'm so delighted today. So as a greeting word also, we talk in relation to our mental and physical health. So next time when we talk about how are you today, then we will talk about our mental health as well. So how are you right now? Are you well? Are you happy hearing the teaching of the Buddha? Or you are confused by my too much explanation or so? Or you are confused with the number, right? You know, don't worry. I'm also very poor in mathematics, so I don't like the numbers. So only sometime I would give you the numbers. Then sickliness here refer to akusala, moral and mental sickness. So here moral has been much put on emphasis, not only mental, moral is always included if you notice carefully. And opposed to inner uncertainty and lack of self-confidence, as already explained. And these 5 pairs are more highly developed in the good states of consciousness classed as spontaneous, asankarika. Here spontaneous means automatic. So it means that even in doing merit or the kusala, sometimes it goes automatic. Sometimes it has to be prompted. It means sometimes we have to encourage or motivate ourselves to do this, right? You might have some other important business, or you might be extremely tired, but you motivate yourself that, okay, I will try to join the class today, or I will try to attend the Dhamma talk online today, because it become my like habitual or my daily routine that I can't miss it. Sometimes you have to prompt or encourage or motivate yourself. So this kind of thing, but sometimes it has to come from others. So they are more highly developed with the automatic mind, it says that. Then the last pair, don't worry, we're going to finish 19 and only about 30 minutes left, okay, not to worry. And rectitude, straightness, uprightness, sincerity. So I think the words already explained well. Ujugata, ujugata. Uprightness of mental states. Kaya ujugata. So it's a combination, kaya and ujugata. So here again, kaya refer to a group of the mental states or the cetasika. Ujugata, uprightness, straightness, no crookedness. Uprightness of mind, cetu jugata. So it's a combination of ceta and ujugata. We don't say you, right? This you is a Pali word, so we say ujugata. So it crushes the crookedness or twistedness, tortuousness, I don't know, tortuousness, so it is twistedness or crookedness. So it's non-crookedness. It says that it's not twisted, it is not crooked, it is straight, sincere, upright. Then it is opposed to fraudulence or the hypocrisy. Maya and Sateya. I think Myanmar people are familiar with this word Maya, like a person who is full of Maya. So what does it say? Fraudulence is deceitful. Deceitful. It deceives us. Fraudulence or deceitfulness conceals committed wrongdoings. Somebody do something wrong and pretend not to do that. A person do wrong and try to find a scapegoat that somebody else has done it. That kind of thing, deceitful or fraudulence. Another one, hypocrisy. Pretends to have the virtue or quality which one actually does not possess. And I would boast or something, the quality which I don't have. Maybe I would claim that I have got jhana, or I have got some other degrees that is offered by the government or something like that. This is the hypocrisy because I don't have it. I pretend to have it, right? This is the fraudulence and hypocrisy. In Pali, is Maya and Sateya. It always come off together. So somebody who does wrong, the mind is never sincere because it has to cover some kind of wrongdoing. And hypocrisy, these hypocrites, these people always have to worry, when the truth is unveiled, then that person will be ashamed or will be criticized in the society. So this rectitude, straightness, uprightness, sincerity, ujugata, it suppresses these unwholesome or unethical qualities of the fraudulence and hypocrisy. It says that these six pairs crush their opposite qualities when they are together. It means it refers to all these six pairs. Tranquility, right? Or lightness, softness, adaptability, and what is the next one? Proficiency and the uprightness, right? So all these six pairs, they crush their opposite qualities when they are together. That's why it is mentioned in a pair. So we come to the end of this 19. Then Abhidhamma say that whenever you do good, you do either generosity, or you observe the morality, or you practice meditation, or you help others, you offer service in the society, these qualities are always there. Then here the interrelation among the 6 pairs. So I think you can just read up yourself, right? Because I would like to explain some other things. So this slide I would like to leave to you because it is written in English. Then I have also given you the reference. So I would like to leave up to you because I have a lot more to cover and I would like to get it done for today. The 3 abstinences, virati, cetasika. Virati here means purposely or deliberately abstaining from evil deeds, right? So we are very much familiar because most of us know the Noble Eightfold Path. Right understanding or right view, right? Samadhi. And then what else? And then Sama Sankappa, right thought. And then Sama Kamanda, right action. Sama Ajiva, right livelihood. And Sama Vayama, right effort. And then Sama Sati, right mindfulness. And Sama Samadhi, right concentration. So they belong to the Noble Eightfold Path, and these 3 constitute the Sila or the morality group. So let's see what are there. Right speech, Samma Vaja. So it has to be double M, Samma Vaja. Right speech means abstaining from lying, we know, slandering. Slandering means dividing speech, with the intention of getting people who are united or who are liking to each other, who are close to each other, who are in good terms, out of ill will. If I say something to divide people, this is called slandering, right? In Pali, it's called pisuna vaja, pituna vasa. And this what Rector Seattle has explained is an abbreviation. Pi. Pi represents piya. Piya means loving, right? And su. Su means saunya. Saunya means 0 or no, void of. Okay? Karana means doing. Okay? Piya means loving. Saunya means void of. Karana means doing. So, pisuna means piya, saunya, karana. It does in a way that there is no loving. It means to disappear loving. It means to divide people. Pisuna vaja. Divide people. It's called slandering. You know, not every speech, not every true speech is to be said at any time. We also need the right time and to be spoken into the right people. Otherwise, it can also become slandering. And it's also important that we also do out of good heart or out of goodwill. So harsh speech. Harsh speech is very much prominent these days. People use the abusive term on the social media that they don't have this hiri and otapa. They don't have any moral shame or moral fear. Some become so habitual that they easily spoke it out or written on the social media. And frivolous talk. Frivolous talk means vain talk that doesn't give you any benefit. So right speech means abstaining from these 4 kinds of speech, abstaining from lying, that is the musa vada, slandering, pisuna vaja, harsh speech, that is the sampapalaba, and frivolous talk. Harsh speech is the parusa vaja, and the frivolous talk is the sampapalaba. So abstaining from all these things. And number 2, right action. Of course, abstaining from wrong action. Which kind of wrong action? Abstinence from killing, stealing, and sexual misconduct. So this doesn't need explanation. And these 2, the first 2, right speech and right action, is the abstinence or the purposely abstaining or deliberately abstaining from the wrong speech and wrong action that does not concern your livelihood. Okay, so that does not concern your livelihood. Number 3, that is the right livelihood. And abstinence from trading in poison, intoxicants, weapons, slave. These days it might be called human trafficking, and animal for slaughtering, animal for killing or meat. So abstaining from such kind of livelihood. This is known as the Sama Ajiva. So here we can have this example to clarify between what is right action and right livelihood. Under right action, there is abstaining from killing, right? Suppose you abstaining from killing any living being, it is right action samakamanda. But suppose my business is for the animal slaughter. Suppose I do trading in meat and the slaughtering. And for a day, suppose on a Sabbath day or on a special day, full moon day, I try to keep precept and I abstain from killing, right? And my business is and this slaughtering. Then it is the right livelihood. Because I earn my living by this trading in meat and slaughtering, and suppose I abstain from killing, this is something concerning my livelihood. So it is right livelihood. But suppose I'm a teacher or I'm a student and I abstain from killing. Like sometimes some people kill animal for fun as a habit. Then such kind of abstaining from killing that does not concern one's livelihood is the right action. So that should be the way to differentiate. Then we have to understand it is purposely or deliberately abstaining from evil deeds. Right now, we don't have either right speech or right action. It means we don't have anything to abstain from telling lie. I'm telling you the truth. What I don't know, I say I don't know. Some words are big words and I don't know, right? So I don't have anything to do from lying. And right now, there is nothing to abstain from. So there is no wrong speech in you, but you don't have this, you have right speech, but not in the term of virity. There is no case for you to do any killing right now, right? But suppose a mosquito would come and worry you, bite you. Then you abstain from killing. Then at this particular moment, it would be right action because you purposely abstain from killing. Otherwise, there is no wrongdoing for us to abstain from. So I hope it would be clear. It has to do purposely, and you will get clearer in the next slide. So this is, let's say, for the lay people. But for us monastics, as a nun, I should abstain from giving hints to get my dress or for alms food, dwelling place, or medicine, because this is prohibited by the Buddha out of goodwill or cetana. Then people will donate. But suppose somebody has said that, Sayalay, when you need, then please let us know. If they invite us, then we can ask. Otherwise, we can't do any hinting, right? So that would be right livelihood. So for us monastic also, we have to be careful. Here, 3 kinds of abstinences that would make you clearer, I suppose. That is the abstinence on occasion or the natural abstinence. So abstinence from, in Pali we call sampata virati. Sampata means that reaches. The occasion has reached, occasion has come, but you try to abstain or refrain from doing that. Abstinence from evil deeds when the opportunity arises in consideration of one's social position, age, level, education, and etc. Maybe somebody phone has broken and that person doesn't have enough money to buy a new one. But that person is sincere. He or she can easily take from the boss or somewhere, or can do some unlawful mean in the business. But that person doesn't do that, right? So abstinence on occasion. There is the occasion, but that person try to avoid it. So that is abstinence on occasion. In the commentary, we have this example. Once a mother got sick and he has 2 sons, let's say, and the doctor say that that disease can be cured sorry, by eating the raw flesh of the habit. Raw flesh means the fresh rabbit meat. So the elder brother asked his younger brother, and he went to the forest, and the rabbit, as hearing him, ran away, but it got caught in the bushes, and finally he got the rabbit. And that person thought that it's not fair to kill this rabbit or to catch this rabbit for killing for the sake of my mother's life. But on the other hand, it was his mother who is getting ill or getting sick. And about 3 times it say he has been hesitating either to take it or to let it go. But finally, he let the rabbit go. And when he got home, he got scolded by his brother. Where is the rabbit? Then I got a rabbit, but I felt pity and I didn't want to kill it, so I let it go. Then he got scolded. Then it says that the commentary mentioned that person, that younger brother who let the rabbit go, he tried to say the vow of truth. And since I come to an age where I can differentiate kusala from akusala, I have never killed any living being. And by the power of this merit that I have done in my life, may my mother get cured. So it says that the mother got cured. So that is the story. But from that story, I hope it would be evident that there is the chance for that guy to caught the rabbit and kill, but he let it go. So that is abstinence on occasion. Another one, abstinence number 2, abstinence by undertaking precept. That is the samadhana virati. So people try to observe precept, 5 precept or 8 precept, or on some occasions, they try to observe precept. And there is another story, because I hope that it would give you a better example, better understanding. A cowherd, he went to the forest with his cows. And after some time of taking a rest, he lost the cows. So he tried to go in search of his cows, and he got caught by a snake, maybe a python, that the snake was coiling around him. And he has an axe in his hand. So first he thought that he would kill the snake with his axe or with his knife. But prior to that, on that special day, he has taken the precept, observed the precept from a venerable monk. So he also has been hesitating whether he should kill the snake so that he will get relief. But finally, he has decided, this is the only day that I observe the precept. And so he didn't kill the snake, and it says that finally the snake left him. So this is abstinence from killing because he has undertaken precept. So these two virati, abstinence on occasion and abstinence by undertaking precept, they are together with the mundane consciousness, lokiya jeda. Not in the noble person, let's say in the ordinary worldling, okay, like us, like me, I would have to say. And number 3, abstinence by eradication. That is the uprooting. Eradication means like the tree has been already uprooted. Abstinence by eradication, that is the samokcheda, right? In the supramundane part consciousness, that is talking of the noble person area, for example, sotapanna, right? So abstinence in the supramundane part consciousness that arises eradicating the disposition towards evil deeds. Disposition means sort of like the temperaments that is uprooted in us. So because it is the total eradication with the Lokottara Jeda, this abstinence or virati is always there. So what are the causes for us to have this virati? That is faith or confidence, shame, fear of wrongdoing, hiri and ottappa, and fewness of wishes, that we are not much greedy. They are the proximate cause or the cause for this virati to arise, it says. So let me move on to the last 2. Illimitable or limitless, appamenya. Pamana means limit. Appamana means no limit. So from that appamana, it becomes appamenya. It says that it takes limitless or infinite being as object, and it is in range. So what are these? Compassion, karuna, and the appreciative joy, mudita. So as I have explained, it is one of the 4 attitudes that is developed towards living being for Brahma Vihara, Metta, Karuna, Mudita, and Upekkha. So I hope most of us are familiar, okay? Metta means loving kindness. It's already a form of adosa that I have already explained. And then Karuna. Karuna promotes the removal of suffering in others. So the object of compassion is being who is in suffering, who has problem, who has trouble. When you see somebody has physical illness, you wish that may that person be relieved or recover soon. Or when somebody has some problem or in some difficulty, you also make the same wish. So being who is in suffering. So this compassion, it cannot bear other people's suffering. So its direct enemy is cruelty, and it succeeds if causes aversion to subside. Sometimes this compassion is often mistaken with the sorrow. Rector Sayadaw has given an example how to differentiate between this compassion and sorrow. 2 persons has accident on the expressway. One is your relative and one is a stranger. And to a stranger, because you don't have attachment, then you can cultivate this compassion. You can cultivate in the sense that it is more liable to have compassion because there is no attachment. And another person who is your relative, then there is sort of attachment. So it tend to change to sorrow. It tend to change to sorrow. And here in these days as well, we can have this common example, like many people die or is afflicted with this COVID. If we don't know, then we just think that, okay, may they be free from this COVID and may they recover and get well soon. Compassion. But suppose it happened to be someone who are close to us or our relative, then we might have this sorrow. That is the meaning. Another one, appreciative joy, mudita. Mudita means gladness at the success or prosperity of others. I have explained just now. Somebody got promoted or in well-being, then we have this congratulatory attitude. But this appreciative joy can happen only when there is no envy or asa. Suppose my friend got better marks than me, I might get jealous. But instead, I should have this appreciative joy or the mudita over her success or over her endeavor. So the object of this appreciative joy mudita is being who is in good position or the prosperity. Then we can make a wish. May they maintain their good position or may they maintain their well-being happily. So such is the attitude. So its direct enemy, it says that as the jealousy, and it's important that we take care and watch our mind not to be jealous and try to cultivate this appreciative joy. And the last one, faculty of wisdom, penyendriya. It means penetrating things according to their intrinsic nature. According to their intrinsic nature means everything is subject to impermanence. Because it is not self or soul. If it were self or soul, we would think that let our good situation or our good health be always with us and we never get sick. But since it is not so, it is not our self, since we cannot control, we cannot manage, then they tend to change to be impermanent, and things that are impermanent produces suffering. When my happy feeling doesn't exist long, then I suffer. And it is because it is non-self or non-soul. So this is the true nature. So penetrating things according to their true nature and also understanding karma and its result. So this is the way. So it illuminates like a lamp in the forest of the darkness. Then this wisdom is the non-bewilderment, and we have some synonymous terms: panya, wisdom; amoha, non-delusion, non-bewilderment; jnana, knowledge. These three, we take them to be synonymous terms. So we also have their opposite. Moha is the delusion, amoha is non-delusion. Moha is the ignorance, amoha is the non-ignorance, and so on. And jnana means knowing or knowledge, and inyana means not knowing. So we come to the end of these 25 beautiful states. And I think I would like to introduce you a bit with the wholesome jada as well. Because mental states, they cannot exist alone. They always have to come together with the jada. Because cetasika or mental state itself means something that depends on the jada. Okay, so let's see where is the position of this Mahakama Kusala or Mahakusala jada. So I have taken again the overview of consciousness that we have studied in our former lecture. So overview of 89 or 121 consciousness. The first one is the mundane consciousness. Let's say most of us have it, Lokiya Jada. So sense sphere consciousness, we have already studied about this sense sphere, right? Including our human plane and the celestial abode and the four apaya abodes, altogether 11. That is the sense sphere consciousness. This Kama Vajra Jada, they amount to 54. And unwholesome consciousness, Akusala Jada, is 12 that we studied last week. Rootless consciousness, I haven't talked yet, but if I have chance, I think I would include this in the next lectures. Now I would like to focus on the sense sphere beautiful consciousness, Kama Sobana Jada 24, which I underline this. Okay, so we will look at this. So 24 sense sphere beautiful consciousness, Kama Sobana Jada, is further subdivided into 3 groups. That is the sense sphere wholesome consciousness, Kama Vajra Kusala Jeda. Another one is the Maha Kusala Jeda. And its resultant, Vipaka Jeda, and the functional consciousness, Kiriya Jeda. So they amount equally as 8. So 8 multiplied by 24, 3 is the 24. So I would focus on the first one, sense, fear, wholesome consciousness, Kama Vajra Kusala 8. Or another way we can also say Maha Kusala Jeda. So just as the Lobha Mula Jeda become 8, by means of the factors, feeling, association, and promptitude, so it's the same with the Kusala Jeda. It means it shows all the possibility. When there is wholesome consciousness or Kusala Jeda, or when you perform merit, it is out of these 8 only. It just shows the possibility, right? So sometimes we do with pleasure. So let's see to the left column. We have to go vertically from top to bottom. Feeling, we can have 2 kinds of feeling, pleasant feeling or sometimes neutral feeling. Sometimes we do happily, sometimes not with much pleasure, that is with neutral feeling. Sometimes with knowledge, understanding karma and its result, or contemplating on karma and its result, and sometimes we don't. Sometimes it goes, now we go to the third column, right? Association means only 2, with knowledge or understanding, with understanding, or without knowledge means without understanding the law of karma, without accepting the law of karma, or without contemplating on the law of karma. That is the meaning. And the third column, promptitude. Unprompted means automatic. Prompted means motivated or instigated or prompted by ourselves or by others. That is the meaning. So we take one from each column and we match. We have altogether 8. For example, like with knowledge, with pleasant feeling, with knowledge, unprompted. We take from the first column 1, another one with pleasant feeling. Now we go to the second line, with knowledge, prompted. The third one, with pleasant feeling, we go to the third line, without knowledge, unprompted. And the fourth one, with pleasant feeling, from the middle column, without knowledge, and from the last column, prompted, right? It might sound too technical, and I have given you Pali as well, if you wish to see. Later, I will have illustration and example, you will understand well, okay? So, with pleasant feeling, we say Somanasa Sahagata. Okay, Somanasa Sahagata, with knowledge means Jnana Sampayoda, and unprompted Asankharika. This is one. And another one, second one, Somanasa Sahagata. From the second column, we take the same, Jnana Sampayoda, and from the third column, Sankharika, prompted. So the same way we go like that. Then we have example, so that would give you better understanding. With pleasure, happily, okay, with Somanasa. With knowledge, understanding karma and its result, or accepting the law of karma, or contemplating the law of karma, a devotee on his own accord, on his own will. It comes from its will without being motivated by any other. Offer Katina robe to the Sangha. So in the tradition of the Myanmar Buddhists, this is the time of the Katina donation. It means at the end of the Buddhist Lent, Vesa, and people offer this Katina robe, which has the special advantages, both for the donors and donees monks. And the monks got exempted from some restrictions by the power of this Katina robe. So it is also remarkable, meritorious to offer Katina robes to the Sangha. So this is one example, right? With pleasure. A person happily, a person who knows the nature of karma happily offers to the Katina rope to the Sangha on his own will. This is one example. This is it identifying the first jada. So with pleasure mean this somana sasahagada, with knowledge, understand, jnana sampayoda, and on his own accord mean without prompted, automatic, that is the asankarika type of jada. And the second one, with pleasure, with knowledge, a person contributes voluntary service during the outbreak of COVID-19. Sorry, I have to include with the being motivated by his friend, I have to include a phrase, okay? Not on his own will, being motivated by his friend or her friend. I have to add this. So I will add up number 2, with pleasure, with knowledge, a person contributes voluntary service during the outbreak of the COVID-19, being motivated by a friend. Okay, I will add up this. And the third example, with pleasure, without knowledge, a person attends the Dhamma talk, being prompted by a friend. I hope this is also clear. A person doesn't believe in karma and result, or a person is not familiar with Buddhist teaching, for example. But a friend encouraged or motivated him or her to attend a Dhamma talk. So a person encouraged, this is a very good opportunity for you. Then with pleasure, that person do this, such kind of situation. And I think I will conclude that in about 3-4 minutes. With pleasure, without knowledge, a child shares her food to the needy, being encouraged by her mother. So a child who doesn't fully understand karma and its result. So here is referred to as without knowledge. But some child, let's say over teens, then they understand the knowledge, they have the knowledge of karma to an extent. That can also be some other case, but to give example, to show you an illustration, I give this example. With pleasure, a child happily share her food. He doesn't know that it will give her good result, but her mother motivated, so she shared the food with the needy. That's the case. So number 1 to 4, this is with pleasant feeling, and number 5 to 8, that is with neutral feeling. The other factors are the same. So I will try to make out number 1, how it goes. So here, association of wholesome consciousness and mental states. So here, this is how Abhidhamma explains in detail. With pleasure, with knowledge, a devotee on his own accord offers Katina rope to the Sangha. This is the first example. So how many mental states can arise? So this is the jada. First, we have seen 25 mental states, and now we're trying to match with the jada. So what is that particular jada? That particular jada has the feeling with pleasure and has understanding with knowledge, and it comes automatic, so it is unprompted. So it associates with a group of the mental states. The first one is the ethically variable mental states. They are altogether 13. And the second one, all the 19 beautiful universals are also there. And the last one, because that person understands or has the knowledge of karma, so the wisdom is 1. So altogether we see 33 mental states can be together with that particular jada. So this is how Abhidhamma studies in Myanmar go. We try to first identify the jada, and we try to match and see how many mental states can be together. So if you go for exam, then you might have some kind of question as well. And even if you don't go for exam, at least you can understand that Abhidhamma gives such detailed analysis. Then at the back side of the number, next to the number, I have given in the bracket or parenthesis, number 1, ethically variable mental states 13. So if the feeling is neutral feeling, then we try to exclude that. One, we will try to exclude piti. And number 3, if that person doesn't believe in karma and its result as well, we don't take that into account and the number would be less. So this is to give you idea of how it goes, and I think you can read yourself and understand and digest as well. So the last one, I would like to share you 10 kinds of Punya Kariya Vuttu. Then the merit that condition happiness or basis of meritorious deeds. That is, given charity or generosity, we are familiar, that is the dana. And morality, of course, sila. Meditation, we have tranquility meditation, samatha bhavana, and insight meditation, vipassana bhavana. And number 4, that is the veneration. So giving respect to elders and holy persons. Like when we were in high school or the primary school, as the teacher came in, we all rise up, stand up from our seat to welcome teacher, show sort of respect. And here also during the Dhamma talk, when the venerable or the monk came in, we welcome them in worshiping mode, right? Veneration. And Vaya Vijja, in wholesome deeds, we try to offer our service. And Patidana, sharing merit. After doing meritorious deed, we share merit, right? Patanubodhana, rejoicing at the share merit. Somebody say, I have done this kind of merit. I have, then you say sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. It means patanumodhana. You already rejoice in the merit shared by you. And Dhamma savana, listening to the Dhamma, Dhamma desana, teaching the Dhamma and straightening one's view or to have right view. So these are the merits that we can accumulate in our daily life. And for that, we don't have to cost anything, any money, then very precious. Then again, you can see here how they can be fit into the Dana, Sila, and Bhavana. Altogether, we have 10, but these 10 are pertaining to 3 main practice, Dana, Sila, and Bhavana, right? So here you can see, because sharing merit and rejoicing in others' merit, they are opposing to jealousy and stinginess. They belong to the Dana. And for the veneration and service, they belong to the Sila group. Because when we talk about Sila, mostly we talk about the abstaining or refraining aspect, abstaining from killing, from telling lie, sexual misconduct, right? But there is another aspect of Sila that is also important. That is to be fulfilled. As a student, I have to take care of my teacher. As daughters, they have to take care of the parents. And as parents, they have to, as parents and teacher, they have to take care of their students or the daughters and sons and such kind of thing. So this is also the morality to be fulfilled, we call Jarikta Sila. So both aspects has to be fulfilled. And another one, listening to Dhamma and teaching Dhamma, it goes into that meditation because it increases merit, right? So that's the end of today's lecture. And for the next 2 slides, I have given example of the Lobha Mula Ceta and how it can arise together with the Cetasika. So I hope that I can give you brief explanation or short explanation in the next lecture. This is the example from last week, from illustration. So I will include that in my slide as well. So thank you so much. Today I have mainly focused on the beautiful mental states and the beautiful consciousness, Sobhana, Cetasika, and the Kusala Ceta, and how they can be together. And I hope you gain some sort of insight and knowledge and refresh your mind, feeling the virtues or quality that present in our mind when we have wholesomeness. And I hope that we all will determine and make effort and be mindful. And along with wisdom, we will be able to accumulate merit from time to time. Thank you once again. Thank you very much. And let me conclude our today's class by reciting Bodha Sasanam Jiram Tetatu, wishing the teaching of the Buddha to last long. Buddha Sasanam Jiram Tetatu. Buddha Sasanam Jiram Tetatu. Buddha Sasanam Jiram Tetatu.
Thank you very much, Sayalay.
May the
Thank you, Sayalay.
May the teachings of the Buddha last long. Well done, well done, well done. Sabba dalam rekantu sabba devata sabba Buddha nubawena sabba dhamma nubawena sabba sangha nubawena sada sukhi bhavantu te bhavantu. May there be all blessings. May the deities protect you. By the power of the Buddha, by the power of the Dhamma, by the power of the Sangha, may we all be well, happy, peaceful, and accomplished. Sadhu. Thank you very much, everyone. Have a good morning, afternoon, and good night. Thank you.
Thank you, Sayalay.
Thank you,
Good
Sayalay.
night. Good night.
Good night.